Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Wrap with Ringer and George. Hey, it's March. The madness is upon us, George.
And it is, and it's coming fast. I mean, you better be prepared. I'm looking at it in every sport. I did a little early analysis of the NFL, and the next 2 or 3 weeks, that's going to be absolutely bonkers. No two ways.
Yeah, it's going to get crazier with the they're not even having the combine, right? They're doing it virtually or something.
They're doing it virtual, yeah. Yeah, maybe we get a couple of those guys to run up here. That'd be fun.
Hey, there you go. Get some flights up here and see what happens.
Sure.
So, well, you were telling me just before we got started here that you were subjecting yourself to the Gopher men's basketball team, and I asked you why. Why would you do that? And you
well,
said,
I've been talking to the people that know it all down in the city, and and I said, okay, Coach Pitino, Richard Pitino's in a heap of trouble. A couple of years ago, he was going to be the one that saved us all, and he had a good record, and actually his record still isn't that bad. But they were telling me if they run out and did really well in the Big Ten tournament, that still might not save them. And I take a look at some of the money. I mean, it's I hate for it to come down to money, but it would cost them more to keep them than to get rid of them. And when you're talking a couple of $1 million here, it's hard to say. Yeah.
No, look, I've been a Pitino fan since he got here. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Kelcher and Robbins are injured and blah, blah, blah. But, God, I mean.
Well, anyway, I did some research and I talked to some people, and they talked about what the main problem was. Number one, he's always had a little bit of problem recruiting, and that doesn't go well with Minnesota people because they see all these other top shelf athletes going to other schools, and this kind of does not look good. So the prime timers are going somewhere else. The Gophers have been lucky getting in a few players that they have, but few stay for 4 years, so they don't get much chance to develop them. And I take a look at development. I mean, 2 years ago, Gabe Kelcher was one of the best sharpshooters in the league, and now he couldn't buy a dead chicken. And it's that's a developmental deal. I just made that dead chicken thing up.
Yeah, that was great, right off the cuff, and it kind of fits because Gabe Kelcher, he's never going to get a chance to play again this season, I don't think, because yes, they're going to get a chance to play in the Big Ten tournament, but man, they got. Well, I don't know. They closed here against Penn State because we're taping this Wednesday night after the game, or just about when the game is over, and that's how I feel about the Gophers. They're over. I can't care about them. They'll drive me nuts if I do. So, Gopher men's basketball. See ya. We'll talk about you next winter. Thank you for being around. And now you got to go away from me because I can't take it.
Well, when they started this season out, man, they had a bench. He's going to be able to play 10 players. Well, after Kelcher's gone and after Robbins is gone, that bench looks awfully lean, and I mean physically skinny. And I think there's some good talent on that team, but right now, boy, I'll tell you, they really are.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm not saying Mashburn's a big deal, but the main reason why Mashburn came here was because Pitino's here. Pitino leaves. Mashburn, I would guess, is leaving. Are some of these kids going to stick around? It all depends upon who they can bring in, and that's a loaded question. How about Ryan Saunders? I'll just throw it out there, and we can move on because, yeah.
I hear exactly what you're saying, and it's hard for you to watch your beloved basketball team fold up tonight. They lost by 19 points. They got a chance to play, but I mean, that's every road game this year they have lost. And considering some of the teams that they've beaten, you'd think that they would have been able to snatch up one of these. So they're going to be playing Rutgers, and I think in the first round of the Big Tens, they'll be playing Nebraska in the pigtail bracket. So we'll see where it goes from there. I think as I saw, something went from Nebraska, the winners would go to Wisconsin. So unless we get a miracle cure for a busted finger, and Liam Roberts was nowhere to be seen tonight. So, and I don't know what they're doing, if they're saving him for Saturday or whatever, but it does not look good in Gopher land.
Let's move on.
Sure.
Please. Women's basketball, they're kind of in the same boat. They'll make the tournament, but they get Illinois on Friday, and they beat them the last time. Hopefully they can get another win. And I'm not as mad at the women's basketball team, but they're kind of in the same spot. It's going to be whatever they get in the Big Ten tournament, and then it's over.
Well, and it's really too bad because there are a couple of injuries away, and they've been real inconsistent with how with the team that they've been able to put on the floor, and you know, and I know the coach, she's pretty intense lady, and you know, so it's got to be frustrating for her. But like you say, you're not as mad at them as you are at the men.
Yeah, lots of promise there. Volleyball didn't get to play last weekend. They're at Ohio State this weekend. Won't be easy, but let's hope that they can get things going in the right direction. Baseball, the Gopher Baseball team, who had so much promise last year, they get started this weekend. They got 4 games at US Bank Stadium that I wish I could drive down to and sit in the stands and watch a few, but they got 2 with Indiana and 2 with Rutgers. Softball team 3-3 last weekend. That was a little surprising that they lost 1 game each day to Maryland, Indiana, and Ohio State, if I remember right. Maybe not in that order, but surprised that they split with all those, because they are supposed to be the Big Ten favorite, and so to lose 3 out of the 6 games was a little shocking to me. But nonetheless, they're back in Florida, I think, not this weekend, but next weekend, and they'll play another 6 games, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, no, that's what I like about baseball. You always get a spring trip.
And then, of course, we've got to talk about the Big Ten wrestling tournament coming up this weekend. And I know you've got to have everything previewed. So
I'll tell you, I've gone through all the pre-seed brackets. Minnesota, I'll go right through it. Stevenson is the top seeded heavyweight. Braden Lee is number 3 at 157. Patrick McKee and Owen Webster are 4th at 125 and 184. And then the one returner is Boo Drayden, and he's seated 7th at 133. And the other 5 guys have never wrestled in the Big Ten tournament, but Andrew Sparks, he's got a 5th seed. Marcos Polanco and Michael Blockhouse have number 6 seeds. Jake Allar is redshirt junior. He's at 174 pounds. He's seated 9th. And Garrett Jones is seated 11th at 195. But I'll tell you, the preliminaries and the next Sunday, the wrestlebacks, they determine who's going to win the Big Ten tournament. Those wrestlebacks can just be incredible. So they say, well, they're only fighting for 4th or 5th. Yeah, they're fighting for team points. And on Sunday, it's going to get real excited. Penn State's just not going to want to give up this title easy.
Well, and Ohio State was there.
They've got 4 seeded number 1.
Uh-huh. And those champions get a little bonus.
Yes, you do.
And of course, the guys who like to get pins and technical falls, that adds to the team points as well. So, yeah, I expect Iowa to win it, but that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to occur.
No, I expect that they're going to win it too. And when you take a look at, they're going to start off right off the bat with Spencer Lee, who I think is the finest wrestler in America, and he's going to go start ripping lips, as they say, at 125 pounds, and they're going to go all the way through right up until 285 pounds, and that's when Tony Cassiope, he will meet his doom, because he's somewhere along the line going to have to.
I was going to say, it won't.
No, I predict Stevenson's going to win is going to win his weight, and I think he's going to be a national champion as well. This
Be
is
shocked if he wasn't.
yeah,
Absolutely shocked if he wasn't.
yeah, I will too.
Anything else, Gophers, you want to talk about before we move on?
Let's see here. No, Gopher season seems to be getting off. I tell you, I do want to mention just a couple of things. Seth Green is leaving the Gopher football.
Yes, you remember that. Good. I'm glad you brought that up.
He was one of my favorite. I didn't believe in the Wildcat formation until he came around, but he made a believer out of me. And I don't really blame him. He's such a great athlete. He's got that great build. He's got good speed. He can do everything on the field you want him to do. And so all he wants to do is play a little tight end. I think that he wants to
try to. You think he wants to play tight end, or you think he wants to play quarterback?
I think he wants to play tight end.
Okay. I think he wants to go play quarterback someplace.
Well, maybe. I'm telling you, if he goes to another team and they don't install a Wildcat, I'm going to wonder what's wrong with the coach.
Okay, so let me throw something completely out there.
Sure.
I don't know if you watched North Dakota State last weekend.
No, I didn't, but I knew they got beat.
They got absolutely throttled. They're looking for a quarterback. Now, they supposedly have some young buck, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to put that young buck, in your pocket for a year or so and say, hey, Seth Green, we like to run the football, and if you can throw it okay, we'll take that too. So why don't you come up to Fargo and come play football with us and see if we win a national championship?
Oh, he might.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's close to home. He grew up in the cities. Fargo's not that far away.
Well, this kid's got a top shelf brain. In 5 years, he graduated with his master's degree. I mean, he knows how to take advantage of the circumstance, and I'm going to miss him in the Gopher uniform. I really am.
Yeah, I think it's the day and age sort of the free agency of the college athlete. You got to go take care of yourself. He gave everything he could to the Gopher program, and he deserves a chance to go out and see what can happen. So, Seth Green.
Anyway, I think that the jury's going to be out, but I by the beginning of the summer, I think we're going to know just what the Gophers have to show for next fall. And I still think that they have an opportunity to put together some pretty good talent. Although, all the football players, they lost a year of eligibility. All these winter sports, they didn't lose nothing. They can come back and do this all over again.
So did you hear about Maryland? And speaking of getting an extra year, did you hear about Maryland and Kentucky high school sports?
No.
They're going to offer the seniors this year that they can come back and play high school sports again next year.
One more year?
They can stay in school, take more classes, and they've got another year of eligibility. And I'm just like, who would stay in high school?
In high school.
What are you talking? Of course, a lot of these, like our school, you could take college classes, get college credit and still be high school. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, this kind of happened when they did this. They got the whole stream plugged up because now they don't have a recruitment class anymore. They've got two classes looking for the same spot, and and I can understand. So what I can't believe that they would. Somewhere along the line, we have to say that sports accommodates your education, and that's what it's there for, not the other way around. So it's that's pretty hard to see. Yep. Who wants to spend another year?
I want to talk about UMD women's basketball if I can.
I do.
They
again
win the NSIC championship last weekend, and I won't say they did it in dominating fashion, but they looked impressive. And there's Brooke Olson and a couple of the other ladies on that team look pretty good. I see they're ranked 8th in the nation, but only 3rd in their region. So that kind of maybe tells you how tough of a regional that they may have coming up. And but we'll see where they get seated on Sunday. We'll find out who they're going to be playing in the playoffs.
Well, they were 13-1, and I think the only team that they lost to was St. Cloud, and they've beat them now back-to-back a couple of times, and so they right now are really dominating. But Brooke Olson, 7 for 11 for 15 points and 12 rebounds. When you're getting 15 points and 12 rebounds from a player, you're doing real well. So I'm hoping for him. I love Bulldogs,
Yeah, I'm hoping they can see what happens in the regional. Maybe they can make a run. UMB men's hockey, of course, beat St. Cloud State on Saturday. Kind of righted the ship a little bit after things seemed to have veered off course. They get St. Cloud Saturday afternoon at 1:00. My big disappointment is I've got a hockey game on the radio at 3:00, so I'm not going to get to watch a whole bunch of it. But the winner of that game gets the number 2 seed in the playoffs. The loser gets number 3. So I guess it's an important game because you'll get last line change in the 2-3 game if both teams make it through the quarterfinals. So that would be good. And of course, UMB women's hockey, I thought they were going to beat Wisconsin. They beat Wisconsin on Friday. They beat Wisconsin on Saturday. They were ahead late in the third period. Unfortunately, Scotty pulls the goaltender, ties it up, and then they scored like 11 seconds into overtime. A couple of the doggy women's players kind of ran into each other by the bench, and all of a sudden it was a 3-on-1, and it was over. But a good run. The Dogs get to play OSU Saturday down at Ritter right after Wisconsin plays Minnesota in the 1-4 game. So the Dogs, people are speculating whether the Bulldogs will make the NCAA tournament. I'm gonna say if the Dogs don't, there should be a formal investigation of the NCAA and what they are trying to prove.
Because I would know why would they?
If you're second in the WCHA, you're at least in the top 8 in the nation. They're just sorry, folks. It just can't be any other way. But
and I'll tell you what, that WCHA has been pretty impressive this year. They've got a number of good teams. I mean, North Dakota and Nebraska, Omaha, St. Cloud.
Now you're talking NCHC. Now you're talking the men. Women are the WCHA.
Okay.
So yeah, the Dogs, like I said, we'll see what happens. And of course, you're right about the NCHC, the men's teams, North Dakota, Omaha, St. Cloud State, the Dogs. Like I said, it's the best conference in the nation. There's a reason for it. So
they are.
So where would you like to go to next?
Dollar Bill Kirill.
I still like Kirill the Thrill. That's my vote.
Well, this is Matt Dumba calls him Dollar Bill, and so the first thing he did was buy T-shirts for everybody in the team. And when Kaprizov walked into the locker room, here's all these guys with Dollar Bill Kirill T-shirts, and the team joke. And Dumba seems to be the type of guy that would pull something like that off. But when they talked to Kaprizov about that, I think he was a little bit embarrassed. He does have from time to time, although his English is a whole lot better than my Russian, but I think that sometimes he gets just a bit overwhelmed by this, and he has that cheapish little young man smile that comes on, but he is something to watch. And I mean, I'm going to watch him again tonight. And the last time we talked, you said, I'm not sure, if it's the teams they're playing, and the first thing they do is they hammer the Avalanche for 2 games and go on a 6-game winning spree. Their goaltending is playing well. Their defense is hard for me to evaluate. But when Kaprizov and his line hits the ice, it's zip, zip. They go.
Yeah, there's some good things going on there. Everybody's saying he's not shooting the puck enough, which to a certain extent I might agree that he likes to pass, make that extra special pass, make that extra special move. But he's leading the rookies in the league in scoring. So you got to you have a hard time arguing with it. He did not win the Rookie of the Month, which a lot of people were teed off about, me being one of them. Because anyway, we'll let it go. Some people say, let's not worry about Rookie of the Month. Let's worry about winning the Stanley Cup. And I'm like, whoa, folks, you're putting the wild. We gotta calm down. It's good. Things are going well, but let's not start anyway.
But they were talking about a shooting, and keep in mind in Russia, I mean, and I don't know if it's in the old days you would see Russia, they would pass the puck to the nth degree. That's what they did. And there would be an awful lot of assists and an awful lot of 5-foot passes and 10-foot passes and that type of thing. So I think he's still kind of working out that style of play. And,
he playing it.
He's looking all the time. The kid is really enjoying playing the game, and he is fun to watch. I don't remember seeing a Minnesota Wild player like this. In fact, it's difficult to even think of a North Star that came across. Neil Broughton, maybe.
Yeah, Gabrick probably was as close as it'll come to somebody who's this dynamic. And some people would say Gabrick wasn't the skater maybe that Kaprizov is. But yeah, been fun to watch. And of course, they had a nice lead on Vegas on Monday night, and ended up losing it in overtime. And of course, the game-tying goal has created a mountain of controversy. And for the first time in 9 years, one Zach Parise is going to be a healthy scratch tonight. And the reason for it is because of what he pulled, the shenanigans that he pulled, which he tried to defend in a message that I read on Twitter today that he put out there that, he's trying to get Marcus Foligno the hat trick, and he tried to cover up for whatever. But, him and I've complained about Suter for a lot of years, about Suter likes to go out there and coast. Well, if you're going to coast, get your butt to the bench and let's get somebody out there who's going to move around. Go out there for your 45 seconds, skate your rear end off, and then get to the bench. With Parise out there for 93 seconds and probably cost the Wild a win, very possibly, because of what he was trying to do to help out a linemate get a hat trick, doesn't pass muster with me. And Zach Parise, I don't think will be a member of the Wild by the end of the season or before next season. Will not be a member of the Wild. The Wild will eat his contract and send him on his way because he is thinking about – I understand about thinking about a teammate, but you've got to think about the team and what that means. And
do you think Zach's starting to see some of these younger players come up and putting the pressure on him? He's been around for a long time. He's a great legacy. I remember his dad well. He's been there for a long. But why would he do this? He knows better.
He knows. That's the thing about it. I think that's taken a lot of people off. He should know better. And I know somebody mentioned he works his butt off harder than any other player. And I agree. There's no doubt about it. Matter of fact, I saw on Twitter that he was the first one out at the skate this morning, shooting pucks. He was the first guy out there. And he had probably knew at that time that he was going to get sat tonight. And I don't disagree, but at the same time, he forgot about the big picture. He was looking at a little picture, and he missed the big picture. And that's the part that I think if he'd have just come out and said, you know what I did, what I was thinking? I was thinking about Marcus, but I probably should have gotten my butt off the ice. Everything would have been fine. He decided to dig his heels in and say whatever. And like Kyle Rudolph, Zach Parise is not going to be playing in Minnesota for much longer.
Well,
how's that for a segue?
As long as you brought it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You got Kyle Rudolph. What do you have? Well, you got a 6'6", 265-pound tight end from Notre Dame. So you not only have this incredible physical specimen, but he has a brain as well. And he's given 10 years down there. Now I'm not sure that they did the right thing or the wrong thing, but towards the end of last year, Kyle was pulling in some of his gifted catches again, and he was doing this. In the last 2 or 3 years, he's been used less and less, and I'm not sure whether that is a tight end offense or they just want him to block for the running back. But hey, if I had to have a blocking tight end, he'd have to be amongst the best.
Yeah, I get that, but you can't pay a blocking tight end that kind of money like they were going to have to pay him. And He basically came out a couple of weeks ago and said, I will not take a pay cut. Well, Kyle Rudolph, I hate to tell you, but whoever you sign with, you're taking a pay cut because you're not going to get the kind of money that you were getting. And hey, if he wants to go out and go to Tampa Bay and play with somebody, or whatever he wants to do, I wish him luck. But he's got to understand the economics. The Vikings could not pay him that kind of money to do the things that he had been doing the last couple seasons. It doesn't add up. Sorry.
Well,
I love him, but
we've got another superstar on his way.
Yeah,
Mr. J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's over to Arizona. This is probably a good idea. You know, the Cardinals Houston's been relying on him as their defensive line for a long time. He gets double teamed more than anybody else in the NFL. And now he's going to go over to Arizona, and they got a couple of defensive linemen that aren't going to be so easy just to block down on your end anymore, or wherever they put him. So I think he's going to do well over there. He's
been great that the Vikings could have brought him in, but yeah.
I was just afraid he was going to wind up in Green Bay or Detroit, and it's just like, oh, you know, that I knew that he probably wouldn't wind up with the Vikings, but boy, I would have hated to seen him in that gold and green. That'd have been bad.
I agree. I would agree.
Hey, I watched him play when he was at Wisconsin down at Camp Randall Stadium. He was a freshman, and he got in at the end of the game, and I watched this guy roll around, and he made like 3 tackles in 4 plays, and I thought, oh, JJ, and he's a freshman. Well, he got better and bigger too.
Yes, he did. So, anything else NFL you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to CBS NFL host Irv Cross. When I grew up, Irv Cross was this cornerback, and everybody went and interviewed him because he was so very articulate and really knew what he was doing, and a super nice guy. Well, you know, he went to Northwestern, again, pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He spent 6 years with the Eagles and 3 years with the LA Rams, all pro, both teams, and he had himself just a super career. Now, he died of heart disease, but he also suffered from dementia. And Irv believed it was caused from concussions. He donated his brain to the Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy Clinic in Boston University to study such a thing, but he really did believe in the last years of his life that his dementia was caused by, and in fact, when he was a rookie with the Eagles, his nickname was Paperhead, because he was getting so many concussions, and concussions were looked upon, well, they called them dingers. Yeah. And so you had a little dinger, and the next day you were fine. You didn't worry too much about it. But Irv Cross is the reason that Michael Strahan or any of the rest of those defensive analysts are there. He was the first black man to be on TV, and he was a groundbreaker and a very fine football player. So we're going to kind of miss Irv Cross. He was a good old boy.
I forgot that he had become the athletic director at McAllister.
He became
and that he lived in Minnesota.
McAllister.
I had forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he died in Roseville.
Yeah.
And, I guess I kind of did too, but when I started reading that, I thought, oh, boy, what a guy to have on your staff.
Yep.
You
want to talk about the Timberwolves at all?
Let's talk about the Timberwolves.
You know what they did? You know what they did when they lost the other night? Did you hear about this?
What'd they do?
They became the franchise with the worst winning percentage in all of the 4 major sports. Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the previous record. The Timberwolves now are the worst winning percentage of any major sport team of the 4 major sports.
That's for their whole history.
For their whole history.
Well, that's not good, Tim.
That is not good.
No.
Not surprising, but it's not good. You're right.
No, it really isn't. And Mr. Finch, he's going to have, well, he hasn't won a game yet. And they got Charlotte going tonight, and I'm not sure what.
And they're going to win. I'm going to predict it right now because nobody's going to watch this till Thursday. The Wolves will win. I'm going to look up their score right now while we're doing this because it should be after half. And I want to see how my prediction is going to be. So what else did you want to talk about with the Wolves?
Well, the only thing I've been knowing is that Ricky Rubio has been having a hard time. Marco?
I'm showing the score. They're down 71-63. The Wolves are in the third quarter. They're going to win still. I say it.
Well, so that's only 8 points.
That's 8 points. That's right.
Points and nothing.
That's
nothing
only 3 possessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to come back and win tonight. What do you want to talk about Ricky Rubio? What?
He's having a heck of a time. And it's, he's trying to direct the team and he's trying to play a little basketball and he's getting a little bit too old. And his shot is not improved.
I was going to wonder where you were going to go with that. That he ever had one.
Well, no, it's one of those things. I remember when he came over here from Spain and he was this cute little hotshot runner arounder and it's right now the Wolves are in bad shape. And, I'm not sure if they're going to, go in for the number one draft again. I'm not sure
again.
But, they have to take a breather and get this thing together a little bit.
So the question that I was asked today by somebody was, do they trade Cat? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we've had 2 number 1 picks, okay? And we're going to trade Andrew Wiggins away, and we're going to trade Cat away. And now we've got Anthony Edwards, and we look like we're on pace to get another number 1. And we can't pull the ship into the right direction. We can't get.
How many games they won this year? 7 or 8? 7 games.
7. Wow.
In itself is not good either.
That's wow.
No, I'm afraid I've kind of cast them aside because, this is we don't know this right now, but springtime is in the wind, Tim. I had my nose and I could smell the air all the way from Southwest Arizona and California. It's going to be really, really nice, which means baseball. I'm wearing my Toledo Mudhens shirt in the upcoming season. So,
hope springs eternal, right? Isn't that what they say?
It is. Hope springs.
Yeah.
The Twins, J.A. Hopp, reported to spring training after suffering from COVID. The 38-year-old left-hander can't taste and he can't smell, but he's ready to pitch.
Well, after what happened today, we need something.
Well,
you watched the Twins on FSN today?
I did, and what can I say? There was some batting practice going on.
For the Boston Red Sox, yes.
The Bo Sox were, and remember, how long they've been playing now? For a week?
Yeah, 5 days, 4 days.
No, they weren't hitting anything, and this was part of the articles in the paper. Sano has to start hitting some. This great big guy, but you throw him down and away, and he's going to hit himself in the foot. And it's just, they just say, well, if he ever gets that pitch at belt level or higher, he'll clobber it. Yeah, but no pitcher in their right mind's going to speed up that.
Only an accident will end up there.
Yeah, only an accident's going to wind up there. So I hope that he can start hitting the ball and they can start putting the swat on it. Otherwise, it's hard to say where they'll wind up, but they need that power. Otherwise, Chicago's probably going to outrun them.
Well, yeah, because they're great athletes. They're
great athletes. They're incredible athletes.
Yeah.
Oh, Golden Glover, Andrelton Simmons. He should be there, but he can't get out of his country. He's got paperwork to do before they'll let him into the United States.
And then he's going to have to sit for 2 weeks
because
of COVID restrictions. So even when he gets here, then we got to wait 2 more weeks. Didn't he know spring training was coming?
I don't know, but he said that he was working out with his brother he was doing his baseball stuff with his brother. But coaches were wondering if baseball stuff with the brother is equivalent to spring training. I don't think so.
No. Here's what I don't like about the new spring training, George. 6 and 7 inning games, not 9.
Not 9.
Okay. Innings can just be stopped abruptly. You don't even need 3 outs. Pitchers can throw 20 pitches and the manager can say that's enough, but then he can come back out and pitch the next inning. You want me to come back and watch the game, so you sell me a ticket to spring training. Okay. I got to sit there with my mask on. I got to do all this other stuff. And then I don't get 54 outs. Now, what in the heck is going on?
No, but I'll tell you what, they sold all their tickets out in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but did people know that they were going to only play 6 innings?
What you're watching there is practice. You're watching a baseball practice. You're not watching a game, and that's kind of, I guess, the way they figure it. But whatever it was, somebody needed some practice today, Tim. There was no doubt about it.
Yeah,
they got hammered. What was the final? What was
14-6, I think. It was 6.
Well, that's what they all quit in the 7th inning. That's when I first learned.
So yeah, scary stuff. The Twins are 2-2 now on the season. Not that it matters a whole bunch. Let's see if we can get things going in the right direction. Of course, there were subs galore in the game today, and hey, it is what it is, right?
None of the pitchers pitched more than 2 innings.
So Barrios looked good, had the breaking ball going, but that's kind of the way he is. He's good for a couple innings, and then the second time or the third time through the order, if he ever gets there, he gets shellacked. So anyway, we'll see if he can step up and be the guy that we think he can be. I was dismayed to find out that AAA baseball is going to be delayed by a month.
Yeah, I'm sure you were upset with that. So the Fighting Saints are going to open up on the 4th with 6 games in Omaha. Then they return home to host the Iowa Cubs on May 11th. But I'll tell you what, I was in Memphis, Tennessee one time, and I saw the Iowa Cubs play the Memphis Redbirds. Now, the Redbirds are, of course, a St. Louis franchise, and Iowa's Chicago franchise. You'll be really amazed surprised to learn they don't like each other. and so I'm watching these games with his family from Memphis, and it was about 105 degrees, and I'm buying them pops and treats and roasting my butt off and laughing about this game. Both pitchers had a home run, and I just it's. Sorry about the phone there. Somebody will answer it. But when we get caliber of minor league baseball like that, that's really good baseball. Yeah. That's fun baseball. It just doesn't get any more fun than that. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know that you're going to look. But I'm going to want to go down and see some games. It's just a good time.
Hopefully, we'll get to be able to do it, George.
Yes.
What do you make of Buxton coming into camp 20 pounds heavier?
Well, I was wondering about that. That's what I heard.
To me, more durable, maybe loses a half a stride. Good thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. Let it rip.
There's nothing the matter with that. You get a little muscle on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. And the question is, just like last year, who's going to go out on the mound and who's going to pitch them, and then of course, can everybody keep the big wands going, and Nelson Cruz takes a little while for him to get going, but once
he hit a bomba today, though.
He did. I got a good one.
Garver hit the opening home run. He hit one that they said still hadn't come down yet.
Oh yeah, well that's good.
So,
that's Fort Myers close. It's close to Naples.
There you go.
Yeah.
What else before we talk Broncos?
I'm going through my notes here, and I think that pretty much covers it for me. I'm looking over who we have for the Wild in Las Vegas tonight, and we won't talk about the men's basketball. It's more boys basketball now. So everything's all set from my end. Let's talk about Bronco sports.
Well, let's talk. I don't know. I'll just go in order here on what I've got written down. Girls hockey in the past week, they lost to Evelyn Gilbert at home and lost to Moose Lake area on Saturday. They sit at 0-12 on the season. They've got 3 games remaining. The first of those is on Saturday at home against Thief River Falls, and I'll be there to get the game on the radio on Saturday afternoon. So hopefully the Broncos, like I said, with 3 games left, they go through Saturday, and then their playoffs start on Tuesday, March 16th. So playoff time is getting here. Boys hockey beat Lake of the Woods on Saturday, then lost to Evelyn Gilbert last night, Tuesday night. They've got 5 games left. They sit at 5-8. They get Ely on Thursday night. Then they go to Red Lake Falls. They've got Virginia, Greenway, and somebody left over, Kitson County, the last Saturday. So those are their 5 games left over. So, again, they sit at 5-8. Look right now like they will probably be a 7 seed and open the playoffs on Thursday, March 18th.
Okay, good.
Boys basketball. Got a late game with Northland Reamer last week. Played on a Wednesday. Big win there, 77-74. Then went out and beat Roseau. And Jet Tomzak made 7 threes in that game. So had 30 points. Then they lost to Chisholm on Tuesday night, 71-64. They've got 5 games left. They're 6-7 on the season. They got a big one on Thursday night down at Eveleth. Lost to them the first time. That game actually could be a playoff preview. They might get Eveleth in the first round of the playoffs, which also will be in the middle of March there. I believe, if I remember right, that would also be on Thursday the 18th as well, would be their first game. But it looks like right now they would be on the road. Girls basketball team led Virginia, who is on the top of the IRC, one of the better teams, and unfortunately lost 49-45. They beat 2 Harbors last night by 3 points. They shot 42 free throws in the game, George.
Oh, the Broncos did?
The Broncos shot 42 free throws.
I'll tell you what.
That's a long game right
there. Those Agates are mean, aren't they?
They are. I agree. The Broncos have a 7-5 record, and they've got 4 games left. They get Ely on Thursday night, probably when most people watch this. They got a game with Duluth East on Friday at home, which could be a big, Duluth East was looking for a game, and the Broncos were looking for a game. So they got together and made that happen. And then the Broncos end the season. They've got hitting next week and Nashua Keewatin. Boys swimming and diving, they've got their final duel on Friday night. They go down to Mesabi East. And then their section meet is on Saturday the 13th. So next week, when we do our show, we'll be talking about the playoffs coming up. We probably should have a pretty good idea where everybody may or may not be going. And we'll go from there. So,
all right.
It's the Broncos. So,
okay. Well, I only have one little tidbit. If I got some of my friends down in the cities, talking about the Eden Prairie coach. His name is Mike Grant. You might have heard of him.
A little bit.
Well, Mike Grant, as of the first of the year, is no longer teaching school. And they said, well, what's he going to do in his retirement? He says, I will have that much more time to spend with football. And my father and I will be able to spend more time analyzing what we're doing. And I think he had this with tongue in cheek type attitude. On the other hand, I've met Coach Grant. He's about as tongue in cheek as his father, which is not at all.
Right.
I just want to tell all the other coaches, after you retire, you still get to coach.
You do. That's one thing. Like I said, he'll have more time to X and O and sketch and see what's happening and evaluate kids and all the rest of that stuff.
Well, he says, what do you like best about coaching football? He says, Saturdays. And I thought, oh, I like Saturdays too. He says, because I was able to go over and watch the films with my dad. Yeah, we had Stuart, but we didn't have Bud. But that's okay. We had to settle with Stuart. He's probably watching this.
He will be watching this. I'm sure he will be. So, all right,
my friend.
we're going to get this done in about 45 minutes tonight.
Well, I thought we should have a short one so you can get home and get some rest.
You think? That'd be okay. That'd be
a good idea.
So, all right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Hey, by next week, the Big Ten tournament will be starting for basketball, hockey, NCAAs are right around the corner. I said the madness has begun, and it has. Go Gopher Wrestling.
Yes. My boy.
Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.